Marvel Rivals is a wonderful mashup of decades of Marvel comics, and while its characters are great, I also want to appreciate the game's environments, so let's slow down and look at Easter eggs and references across the game's various maps. We'll start with Asgard, which is a mashup of Asgard and Yggdrasil thanks to this game's inciting incident, the time stream Entanglement, which was kicked off by Doctor Doom. Loki, god of mischief, has seized control of this new realm. He made sure to put up countless green banners with his iconic horned crown, so you would never forget who's in charge. What's more, in this building across from the attacker spawn room is a ceiling-high mural of the trickster god, with a serpent replacing the usual Asgardian symbol, which is technically a triquetra.
It seems the throne has not humbled my brother in the slightest.
This room also has a smaller but equally stylish mural of Loki and Thor's sister Hela on another wall. In a connecting room, there is a thick tome floating above a pedestal. Its cover has the symbol of Yggdrasil, the World Tree, and Odin's Knot, marking this as the Book of Kings, which is also known as the Tome of Eternity. Within its infinite pages are all kinds of stories, myths, and cool Asgardian stuff. Apparently only a true king of Asgard can read and write in the book. Nearby, there is a floating relic composed of multiple blue stones surrounded by a broken ring. Thanks to Hela, we know that these are
the Norn Stones. Pity to leave them there unused.
They're also identified as the Norn Stones on the map of this area, which can be found in the Defender spawn room. The Norn Stones, at least in Marvel comic lore, are gems originally created by Celestials who used them to travel across dimensions. They eventually ended up in the possession of Karnilla, the Norn Queen, and they became known as Norn Stones because it was believed that they were created in Nornheim via Asgardian magic. On that topic, the Norn are the three sisters that oversee fate. A mural of them can be found in multiple locations across the Asgard map, showing them gripping the threads of fate. Another mural, in this case right next to the previous one, depicts three Asgardian warriors, aka the Einherjar, in stunning white and gold armor. Also outside, near the path the cart takes, is a large statue of a woman surrounded by floating orbs. Initially, I thought this might be Sigyn, goddess of fidelity and Loki's wife, but it's actually the previously mentioned Karnilla. The ridiculous headpiece is a direct match down to the three circles and dual horns. What's more, her statue being here makes sense as it overlooks what the map calls the spinning area, where the Norns would produce threads of fate. One of the Chronoverse Saga rewards after accumulating 150 achievement points is a collectible, Threads of Fate, so what we are seeing here is Karnilla holding Threads of Fate aloft in front of what is most likely the Loom of Fate. Also, the basin of water near Karnilla's statue is most likely the Well of Weird, which holds the Water of Life. According to Mighty Thor issue number 700, that's where the Norns weave threads of fate. It's all connected. Anyways, some actually cool stuff can be found over in the Royal Palace throne room. In addition to the titular throne, which you can emote on to get an achievement, a touching painting can be found in one of the spawn rooms.
We were family once. Perhaps one day we can mend our wounds.
According to an official behind-the-scenes video released by the game's devs, this painting was actually inspired by the plot of the War of the Realms comics. Also, near the capture point are three murals, with mirrored versions on the opposite side. By default, they depict Loki vanquishing the Midgard serpent and striking down Surtur, something that Loki will actually brag about when near his Bifrost Garden statue.
Gather close, and Loki shall tell you how he vanquished the Midgard serpent and struck down Surtur himself.
My brother's lies know no bounds, and he himself knows no shame.
Once Team B wins this point, you'll get the Chronoverse Saga achievement Elusive Truth, which required you to shatter the deception and unveil the mural's truth in the Asgard throne room. Lastly, Odin's archive has some interesting pieces in each of the spawn rooms. In one of them you'll find, well, Odin himself, snoozing away inside of his coffin.
Rest well, All-Father. I shall deal with your mischievous child while you slumber.
He's well known for needing to rest to recover his Odin power, and it's so important and frequent that it actually has a name, Odin Sleep. Standing against a wall in this same room is the Giant Destroyer. This is a set of armor crafted and infused by magic by Odin for the initial purpose of fighting Celestials. In the other spawn room, we can find this fancy spear.
Mighty Gungnir is but a relic collecting dust. Odin would be ashamed.
Much like Mjolnir, which is the hammer that Thor wields, Gungnir is made of Uru metal and returns when summoned, but it has no magical user authentication or sentience. Anyways, out by the capture point, you can also see the Crown of Black Fire, aka Surtur's headpiece, hanging on the wall. Since the movie changed how Surtur, the fire giant, looks, this relic in this form first appeared in Thor Ragnarok. Anyways, let's switch realms and look at the Hydra Charteris base, Hell's Heaven. This is a domination map that has 3 distinct areas: the frozen airfield situated at the center of the giant circular structure, the super soldier factory located along one of the base's sides, and the Eldritch monument deep below the surface. The first part of its name is taken from Mount Charteris, a spooky mountain in Colorado that has hosted various groups in the comics, mostly Hydra and Evil adjacent, while this base is actually located in the South Pole. The second part, Hell's Heaven, is lifted from the Secret Warrior storyline. Hydra used the base to research and develop super soldiers using the Hive parasites, which were originally created by Hydra. The interior design is about what you expect from a Hydra base: imposing architecture, OSHA violations everywhere, and you're never more than a few steps away from seeing their sinister Hydra motto. That said, Hydra in Marvel Rivals is really leaning into the Lovecraftian angle. While fighting for control of the Eldritch monument, the Cthulhu-esque call of the Hive will whisper in your mind, and you can actually see giant tentacles, presumably belonging to the source of the Hive, trying to open the door and escape. If you succeed in opening the Mavith portal on this map, you'll get the Call of the Hive achievement. Interestingly, Mavith is the name of a dead planet, which first appeared in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show in Season 3. That's pretty neat. Over in the Super Soldier Factory, you can find some top secret files detailing Hydra's doomsday plan, which of course involves super soldiers, alongside inspirational posters of Arnim Zola.
Looks like Hydra's under new management.
Related to that, this map's capture point has a large capsule that occasionally rises from the floor. Within is a Hive-enhanced soldier, which is hard to see, but his face resembles the Hydra logo, which itself resembles the character Hive. Also throughout the facility are of course super soldier tanks. Most of the tanks are closed off and have the label codename Dauntless, which is probably a reference to Alec Dalton. He was enhanced through a British super soldier program, which, while definitely sinister, might not have been related to Hydra. I'm not sure. Regardless, Dauntless did end up working with Nick Fury and fought against Hydra, which is probably why it's referenced here. There's also one tank that stands out having been ripped open.
Seems this canary broke out of his cage.
It's marked codename Canary, which refers to James Buchanan Barnes, aka Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier. I don't know why or when he actually goes by the name Canary, but it's listed as an alias of his in the 2011 comic Captain America, America's Avenger #1. Also, Bucky's in-game hero story, A Helping Hand, confirms that the codename Canary tank held the Winter Soldier. Interestingly, also goes on to detail that the experiments done on Bucky turned his left arm into a writhing mass of squid-like tentacles. While these are definitely useful in a fight, he makes the tough decision to have Hawkeye slice off the unnatural arm, which is eventually replaced by a high-tech cybernetic arm gifted to him by Shuri, who is Black Panther's sister and Wakanda's top genius. As such, we have Hydra, a Eldritch entity, Hawkeye, Captain America, and Shuri to blame for helping burn that one phrase into our nightmares.
I owe you one for rescuing me from Hydra, Clint.
We do make a pretty good team. Kate's not returning my calls, so what do you say? Want to be my new partner?
I said I owe you one.
I'll take what I can get.
Also, I almost missed it, but in the frozen airfield, you can actually find computer terminals displaying some current flights. As you may notice, Hydra Charteris base is nowhere to be seen. Instead, there's multiple mentions of the Erebus base, as well as the Tarantula and Sokovia bases. The Stellar Spaceport, part of the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, which will be the topic of a separate video, also lists Hydra Erebus Base. There, it says that the Royal Backup Spaceship #2 is carrying Okoye, Steve Rogers, and presumably Clint. This doesn't entirely match up with the lore presented in Winter Soldier's story because they took a portal, not a ship, to Wakanda. Still, it seems that Hydra Charteris Base and Hydra Erebus Base are basically the same thing. Hawkeye's story explains that Bucky was captured in the base within Charteris Mount, never Mount Charteris, which is tunneled into the Erebus ice shelf. There is a real-life Mount Erebus in Antarctica on Ross Island, which was referenced a single time in the comics. Agent 13 explains that Erebus in Greek mythology was the name of the son of Chaos, as well as the name for the gate between the world of the living and the underworld. So basically Marvel Rivals has smashed 2 or more things together into one, which actually makes perfect sense for this game. That said, the Tarantula base only appeared in Secret Warriors #1, where its details were not given, but Dr. McClane was also listed under personnel. He appears in a few different comics, having created the vibranium steel shield that is used by Captain America, as well as the formula for true adamantium, which is what Wolverine's skeleton is made of. The Hydra Sokovia base appears a few times in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is because Sokovia as a country was first created for the MCU, though it later appeared in some comics. There are more maps and fun details to discuss across Marvel Rivals, but those will have to wait for now. In the next video, we'll look at both the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda as well as Clintar, the symbiote surface, which are actually connected in ways that we'll discuss in that video. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. But for now, it's outro time. Big thanks to my channel members for their support, and a planet-sized thanks to Shay Shay for being a super fan. Be sure to leave a comment down below, let me know on all of the things I missed, everything you want to see me talk about in the next video. That's it for this one. Thank you so much. Have a great day.